Win our weekly jackpot with Paddy's Pick 5. Pick 5 winners from our 5 races to win. Enter for free online. Paddy Power.
Well, we've come to the end of the Cheltenham Festival, and this is the final Road to Cheltenham wrap. Ruby Walsh with me, and there's an obvious place to start. It was a fantastic Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup, and the horse that we've expected all season, I think, on the Road to Cheltenham series. Galopin de Champs delivered in magnificent style in the end.
He did, but it was a brilliant race, as you said at the top. Hoy Senior contributed to that. He went a really strong gallop. Obviously Hewitt was up there with him, and they didn't slow down. It was what you expect the Gold Cup to be. It was a really high tempo set. Brave Man's Game was in a lovely sit all the way. Paul was a long way back and Galopin de Champs, but he was happy where he was, and it was beautiful to watch him just creep his way through it and find his way into it, and then deliver them with a brilliant challenge. It's what you wanted to see off the bend, the King George winner and the Irish Gold Cup winner going at it to the second last. I thought it was a great race to watch.
It was a fantastic race, and really formful, wasn't it, with the King George winner in second. Paul said that he wasn't happy with his position early. He got shuffled back, and the horse wasn't jumping too well. But he got in the rhythm second circuit.
He did, but he had the composure to ride him from where he was. He never went about forcing him. He just adapted to the situation, rode what was happening in front of him, and then crept his way into the race. Tactically, it was a brilliant bit of riding. The patience, the skill, and then he got under the 64 favourite in the Gold Cup. It's not going around in a handicap on a Monday afternoon.
Oh, absolutely.
It was incredible.
There's only one rider that has ridden more Gold Cup winners than Paul now, and that is Pat Taff, the legendary Pat Taff, the rider of Arkle. Yeah.
I know. It was brilliant to watch that. You can win races, but to give a horse as good a ride at that should make it all the more satisfying for him.
Such a young horse as well, 7 years of age. You hope he's going to come back and be able to do it again, and maybe again.
You'd hope so, but look, we probably stood here last year, we're talking about a Plutarch, what would he do? So enjoy today, I'd say, is the lesson we probably should have.
It's probably true. I thought Harry Cobden gave Brave Man's Game every chance, right position all the way around.
Exactly, travelled sweet as a nut, jumped brilliantly for him, and just trying to do a better horse on the day.
There was quite a bit of news just immediately before the Gold Cup. We had 2 jockey changes. We'll come to why Mark Walsh wasn't able to ride Miller Endo. Nico de Boinville stepped in, but immediately we need to deal with Davy Russell, who was basically stood down by the jocks and said he was sore. Jordan Gainford was riding Hewitt, so Michael O'Leary couldn't turn to, and Gunn Elliott couldn't turn to him, so they turned to the next in line, who was Sam Ewing. Sam, come on, get the call up, ride conflated into third.
He did, and gave him a great ride. Look, obviously got caught in a bit of a pocket turning in, but that was because of the great race riding from Harry Skelton, Harry Cobden and from Paul Townend, but it didn't cost him anything. But it was still great race riding to watch, and he gave Conflated a super ride.
And what's going on with Davy?
I don't know, I didn't hear, and I haven't been in to wear him to ask. I don't with to wear him anymore, but I didn't hear.
Yeah, all I heard from Michael O'Leary was that he was sore, so news from that I think will come out from the week. A shame about Ahoy Senior. He'd got himself into a lovely rhythm, and then he just clipped the top of 6 hours.
Yeah, he hit it right dunt and didn't get away with it, and obviously brought down
Sounds Russian
and ended whatever chance at Plutarch.
And I was glad to see, Hewitt ran a monster race. I was glad to see him get up from his tumble.
Everyone was.
Yeah.
He was running a cracking race.
Huge. He ran huge. Yeah. Let's stick with Willie Mullins and Paul Townend. They won the opening race, the Triumph Hurdle. In fact, Willie Mullins had the first, second, third and fourth. He ran 7 in the race, but still, that is delivering with Lossiemouth at the front.
Yeah, and look, vindicated Paul's decision to ride her. She travelled super. Blood Destiny was beaten a long way from home. He ran too bad to be true, but Lossiemouth turned Dublin race and festival form around, as we all expected with Gallimar. So, and I'd say Paul Townend was happy with that one too.
Yes, I thought it was a ride of great composure there as well, because there was a weird race. It was a full start. There were horses that were pulling far too hard. Blood Destiny was up among them, and Lossiemouth was even tanking going down the hill.
She was, and he got not in control of the race. He got to the front down the hill, and then didn't really go for it. And he was really up to the last hurdle. It was a shrewd bit of riding. And
he's ended up top rider, and Willie Mullins as top trainer. Kind of expected. Anything less would be a disappointment, I guess, to the team.
Yeah, probably but you come to Cheltenham, you know that's the pressure and that's the expectation, but you probably never admit it.
Well, funny enough, after the race, Willie Mullins was saying he hadn't realised how much pressure he'd put himself under until Galopin de Champs crossed the line. He just because the horse was expected, whereas Alboom Photo had kind of shoved his way there, shouldered his way into the Gold Cup.
He was 6-4 favourite in the Gold Cup. It doesn't get any bigger.
It doesn't. Stay Away Fay produced a second Grade 1 win for Paul Nicholls and Harry Codman. They go on to have that excellent second with Brave Man's Game in the Gold Cup. But Stay Away Fay has really grown with every race that he's running.
Yeah, look, was unlucky in Doncaster. Wasn't probably experienced enough, got between two horses and got almost worried out of it. It stays really well. It was impressive when it won first time at Newbury, and stayed really well here for Harry Codman. Corbett's Cross had been a little bit keen. He ducked out at the last. I got that one wrong as well. I said on television the mark should have had his whip in his other hand technically, but at a race course like this there really shouldn't have been a gap there either, and they changed it actually later in the card before the Martin Pipe. So I'm sorry Mark Walsh, I shouldn't have said what I said, but yeah, he just ducked. Now the horse shouldn't have done it either. He shouldn't have ducked out. You have to jump in on the hurls at that stage. And it was easy for him to jump the hurl and duck out, but he'd been too keen all the way too.
That's why Mark Walsh wasn't able to ride Manila Indo. We should mention actually Manila Indo and Plutarch in the Gold Cup, because they both ended up pulling up.
Yeah, Plutarch nearly got brought down, whereas Manila Indo and Statler both missed the break and never got going.
No, not at all. Impervious was a great winner of the Mrs. Paddy Power Mares Chase. She was really tenacious to beat Allegory Devassi.
She was, and I thought Allegory Devassi was coming with the perfect challenge to beat her. But Impervious was brilliant at the last fence. She danced in front of her for Brian Hayes, and she didn't have rally then.
Yeah.
And she's won impressively.
She's got a lovely head carriage, hasn't she?
She has. She's a real honest little mare. And look, she was beating Dino Blue over 2 in Cork with an amazing jump at the last one day. She then beat Journey with me at Punchestown, and she's improving. And Colin Murphy, he's no stranger to training Cheltenham winners, was back on discussion.
Yes, it was a 5th Cheltenham Festival winner for Colin Murphy, of course, of Brave Inca Fame, the Supreme and the Champion Hurdle, Big Zeb, the Queen of the Champion Chase as well, Empire of Dirt, the other one of his Cheltenham Festival winners. And he really, she's the apple of his eye, obviously, and they're a small team, and he looks after her closely.
Yeah, he does, and I'd say he's delighted to be training her.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brian Hayes, a first festival success for him.
Yeah, grafter, hard-working fella, and delighted for him.
Yeah. The Skeltons got a second winner of the meeting in another one of those hugely tough handicaps, and it was delivered by the lesser fancied Skelton, a bit like when Bridget Andrews won the race for them last time. She was on board Fevroir here, who was less fancied than her stable companion Pembroke, but managed to win, and it was a nip and tuck all the way to the line with Davy Russell.
It was on Pied Piper. Charger ran a blinder as well. The class horses were up near the top of the weights, came to the fore, but Fav walking from well off the pace. Bridget had to fight her way out off the home turn to get the run, and he was nip and took all the way to the line, and it was great. It was another great finish to watch.
It really was. 4 county hurdles, that is now for Dan Skelton, 2 for Bridget, who also rode Mahia, didn't she, a couple of years ago. Premier Magic was a great success for the British point-to-pointing scene. I mean, seriously, I mean, that's really...
It is. You were looking at it, you were hoping something like that might win it. I was probably hoping Boston A would for David Christie, but it's great to see a horse with that background and connections that are ingrained in that sport winning a race like that.
Absolutely. Bradley Gibbs, the trainer, Welshman, he rode the horse and trained the horse. He's based in Hertfordshire, and this horse a prolific winner of points, and he was just a little bit worried. He was kind of pulling himself up on the running, because there were lots of horses finishing quite tight.
And there were loose horses and everything. It was a bit slow. It was slow motion-ish, but it was a winner.
He said it was like an age for the last of the line.
I can only imagine.
5 miles.
And resisting the temptation to use his whip.
Exactly.
Fair play to him.
And we ended just now with Iroko winning for Aidan Kelly, and also a bit of history. First trainers with a joint licence to win at the Cheltenham Festival, Ollie Greenhill and Josh Guerrero, and a fine success. They're different characters, Josh and Ollie. Ollie's very level, Josh is up and down, Ollie was telling me, and they have really enjoyed this success.
Opposite attract. But yeah, look, it was Iroko. He was well fancied. Aidan Kelly gave him a pretty straightforward ride. Another young man riding his first winner here, and he won well.
Yeah, first week at Cheltenham, first time at Cheltenham, second with Salvador Ziggy in the Pertemps, and then wins here. I mean, I'd say he's got a bright future, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'd say he has, and I'd say Frank Berry picked him out a while back.
Shrewd. Normally, when I asked you what do you think was the best moment in the 4 days, it would be, you'd have to think, which one would it be? But it has to be that hour on the Tuesday, doesn't it?
I think it was. I think that was a huge hour for horse racing. Constitution then to deliver, and then for the scenes after Honeysuckle won. I don't think that will be replicated for quite a while, but I do think it was an hour that showcased the sport at its best. showcased racecourses at their best.
Yes.
I thought it was a brilliant hour.
Yeah, it was, absolutely. I think you summed it up on Tuesday when you said you could just see the humanity in the winners' enclosure.
That's what it felt like. And you just thought, when you think of all the things that are happening in the world way outside of horse racing, just to see humanity react the way they did here on Tuesday was heartwarming.
It really was, it really was. So we've come to the end of our Road to Cheltenham series. We should really be thanking people, shouldn't we? We should thank Sarah, we should thank Ben, Michelle, Bruce, Will, Ellie, Pete, Chris, Martin, Jason. I'm sure we're going to miss somebody here. It's going to be awful. That's what happens when
you start saying names.
I know.
If you just said we should thank everybody,
I know.
you never get in trouble.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know, you're so much more polished about this. Yeah. Have we missed somebody? We're definitely going to go home thinking we've missed somebody. Anyway, thank you to everyone behind the scenes who helps us make Road to Cheltenham through all of this time. I hope you've enjoyed the whole of the series. We've certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. But from Ruby and I, it is goodbye.
Win our weekly jackpot with Paddy's Pick 5. Pick 5 winners from our 5 races to win. Enter for free online. Paddy Power.